I don't see or hear anything right now. To whoever just sent me that message.
Who's it gonna be? One more! Oh my God! My brain's gonna explode. My brain's gonna explode. There's something sinister afoot, absolutely.
Hello, everybody, and welcome into the Slightly Biased Show here at the incredible Haymaker Studio, brought to you by Haymaker Network. Follow the Follow the Haymaker Network link down in the description below. You can check out your dosage of Dallas Cowboys news. Who doesn't need all the Dallas Cowboys news they can get with a one-star podcast presented by Haymaker every week on all podcast platforms on Wednesdays. This week, KT is joined. That's Kevin Turner, by the way. KT is joined by the Athletics' John Machota. Syed Youssef from the NFL Combine to talk NFL draft and how much did the Cowboys pay for a kicker. If it were up to me, nothing. We wouldn't pay any of these guys. They shouldn't be making any money. That's my new stance. Athletes should be playing for free on the tax. They should be completely playing for free. It's absolutely ridiculous that they make money at all. So anyways, make sure you guys go check that out. We got a great show today. We're joined by the one, the only, JoestarJokic, a.k.a. Jack, a.k.a. one half of the State of the League podcast. Welcome in, brother. Welcome in.
How's it going?
It's going great. We've been trying to work this out for a little bit, and it just kind of so happens that we perfectly aligned it to where you come on right after a big Nuggets game.
I know. Well, I've been delaying because the Nuggets have been awful for so long. Honestly, the people watching don't realize Slightly has been trying to get me on this program for, I think, a year at this point. I remember the first time I delayed was because I had a computer that could only siphon like a fifth of my actual internet usage, and so I couldn't like reliably live stream anything. And then so that was like over a year ago, pretty much. So yeah, I've just been pushing and pushing and pushing until the penultimate moment of this Denver Nuggets team. They blow out the demon Boston Celtics. And so I'm finally ready to come on and talk basketball.
Are you like a doomer Nuggets fan? I have some Nuggets fans that loiter around in my community who are just like, I hate this team, or I hate my big fat Serbian slob. Like, is that where we're at?
When I go off the cuff, yeah, 100% yes. Like I do, like whenever I'm live tweeting games or whatever, I'm just like this fucking fat dumbass. I can't believe. Like last night, Jokic took 12 threes before the fourth quarter even started.
He's shooting again, huh?
And so, yeah, when shit like that happens, I'm just like, I cannot stand this guy. But then whenever I like, I don't know, take a step back and I'm like, power ranking, who do I think the best teams in the NBA are? I'm always like, I don't know, higher than consensus on the Nuggets, it feels like. So it's a duality of man style thing. But right now I feel good. You caught me on a good day. I love the Denver Nuggets.
Yeah, I feel like the Nuggets had this like weird sort of thing where for a while it's like, yeah, they're the Nuggets. They're fantastic. They're so good. We love them all. We love Jokic. And then like there was a month or two stretch where, to be fair, they were completely injured. But it was like, dude, the Nuggets haven't been good for a long time. And I'm hearing all these podcasts where they're like, no, the Nuggets are like, they're going to be there in the end. And now it's kind of, I feel like, hit that point in the cycle where now people are going too hard on the Nuggets on like a national scale. And it's like, all right, they're still probably the second best team in the West in terms of championship contention.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's just, I find it a little bit hard to blame people just because so much of it, like, it's not just that they're playing bad and it's not just that they're super hurt. It's like a combination of both. And so, like just one of those things is a lot to overcome for like a team that wants to like contend for the championship or whatever. And so for them to have both of those things going on, I understand people fading them a little bit, but at the same time, I don't know, like they've bought damn near infinite wiggle room with me where it's like, it's February and every game we kind of like really micro focus in on because there's nothing else going on. But ultimately, none of this really does matter. And I don't know. There's still like a lot of time for them to really get rolling by the time the playoffs roll around.
Yeah, for sure. This is a live stream, by the way. Someone in the chat said better than the Spurs. I think so. The Spurs are just so green. Like, you just got to factor in Steph Castle will have a game or two where he's just dreadfully bad. Like, these are things that happen with these teams. You know, I did notice something that what's your opinion on my guy, Tim Hardaway Jr.? How are you liking that experience?
Oh, my God. Demon. I love Tim Hardaway. Like, people keep telling me, wait till he's shooting you out of playoff games. But just
actually,
wait.
The opposite happened in his time with the Mavericks, I will say. Where during the regular season, it was like, I want to kill this guy. And then the playoffs was like, this guy just won us game 3 on the road against the Clippers.
Nice. Yeah, I would say that's about been my experience where it was like, when they got him on the veteran minimum or whatever, they got him on like a very cheap deal. I don't know which one. I was like, hey, the Pistons were a good team last year. And Tim Hardaway Jr. started nearly 80 games for a good team. And so I was like, you know, even if he is a guy who completely, like, we don't even play him in the playoffs, to take a swing on him, I was totally fine with. And I feel like it's worked out way better than even like the more hopeful people at the time expected. He's been, and like he's straight up won us several games, not just like off of Jokic, but in the time that Jokic missed. I felt like there's 2 or 3 games where, you know, he comes in for 22 points and it's like, oh man, we just don't win that game without him. And so, yeah, in a season where all of like the staple, then like the Aaron Gordons and the Jokic and everybody are missing extended periods of time, it's been so sick to have him on the team.
Yeah, I knew that was going to be a great signing for you guys. I always liked Timmy here. His contract was just bad. I feel like he always got a bad rep. And he's a Celtics killer. I mean, he had the most points ever in a finals quarter or something like that in Game 4 against the Celtics that year. So he'll always have a special place in my heart. And I'm happy to see he's played pretty well. And for the most part, I've seen Nuggets fans like him. Now, there was this from last night where he went to the podium. Did you see that? And no one was there? No one wanted to interview our boy?
I was so surprised. Like, I didn't even know that was like a thing that could happen.
Yeah. Like,
like he goes into the media room at the end and it's completely empty and he's just like, okay, guess I don't have to do this time. I wonder if that's a good or a bad feeling for an NBA player to get post-game duties and nobody wants to ask you any questions or anything.
I mean, my thing is knowing people who go to these and stuff and doing them in like college when I worked at the school paper. I wonder if he came out like 2 hours later or some shit. Because sometimes that happens where these guys will be like an hour and a half to come out. It's like, all right, I'd like, no offense, Tim Hardaway, but truthfully, there's not a single quote I could get from you tonight that will be worth me not driving home right now and stopping at Wendy's on the way back home to get the chili and nuggets before they close. But I'm a big believer in banning post-game press conferences completely.
Okay.
I don't like them.
Make the case.
Well, I don't like the little and everyone I've ever talked to, like the Big J journos, they hate them as well. No one enjoys doing them whatsoever. Get rid of the post-game press conference room. Get rid of it and abolish it. It should be sort of like guerrilla journalism. I'm stopping a player as they're walking into the locker room right immediately after a loss. And that's when I'm getting my soundbite.
Yeah, I'm getting punched in the face because Tim Hardaway Jr. put up an air ball in the closing seconds of like a playoff game or something. He's like, get out of here. Yeah, I don't know. It would definitely make it more fun. I'm thinking like paparazzi style where it's like flash bulbs going off everywhere. Tim, what'd you think about what'd you think about the rotations in the fourth? Do you think you would have been set up better? And he's just got to be like, yeah, well, we did our best, guys. I gotta go. Because that's all. How often the only avenues for like post-game press conference are very politically nice thing where like everybody is like, he tried to do his job as good as possible. We brought him in to do this or that. That's one. Or the coach just loses their mind on like the officials or something. Or like very rarely you get like JJ Redick being like, I thought D'Lo sucked tonight or something along those lines. But for the most part, I don't know. It's pretty like I never feel like I don't watch post-game press conferences ever.
JJ Redick's a big reason I want him gone too. Because frankly, I don't want to hear the coach. And also same with Chris Finch. Like I don't want to hear the coach following a game whine and bitch about the refs ever. Like I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear JJ explain to us why that was a goaltend in the second quarter. You guys got the shit kicked out of you. We don't want to hear or listen to it or explain it.
Well, that started the momentum, dude. The goaltend, it was a snowball effect. Yeah. So, if that doesn't happen, we get a few different calls to go our way, and then we're right in it in the fourth. So, yeah, I don't know.
I was listening to y'all's podcast yesterday about making the league better, that conversation. I'm a big
real intelligent one. That was a very serious.
All these talks are real. I'm a big believer of, you know what, the NBA is an entertainment industry, so just go into it. And what I would do is I'd have like a press. It would be more of like I'd have them in like cattle, like fenced off the press people. Okay. And the moment the game ends, we open up the gate and they have to storm out onto the floor. All of the press people, like paparazzi members with their cameras, and they're trying to chase down these athletes as they're getting back to the locker room. I think that would be entertaining to me versus like, hey, what about that? And I always, and no offense, I love these guys. I'm friends with some of them. But there's something about those press people who are like, I need to prove to this guy right now I know what I'm talking about. And they're like, hey, that horns action in the third quarter, like, what did you see there? And the coach is like, oh, wow, yeah, that was a great read by our ball handler there. I'm like, oh, my God. This is
who cares? Ask this guy about freaking clavicular, dude. I'm trying to figure that shit out. Man.
That's what we want right there. Yeah, what's your take on frame mogging, Rick Carlisle?
Well, Carlisle definitely hates it because he's a skinny guy. I want to know somebody like I bet Ime Udoka is like I bet he like him and Joe Mazzulla. I bet they're like pro every kind of mogging where it's just like
and they're like they know what it is too. They're like, yeah.
Yeah, they're just like, the strongest should win. It's a meritocracy that way. If he's got the best jawline, obviously, he should be the coach. I feel that way.
Joe Mazzulla's like, we were space maxing tonight, and we got a lot of good thres. That's what I want.
Well, Jaylen Brown freaking mismaxing last night with a loser, dude. Oh, my God.
What's your take on that? Like, he really is one of the strangest players because I was fortunate enough to sit very close. Almost what people would basically say courtside. Very fortunate to sit courtside at
Hollywood. All right.
Celtics Mavs game, and Jaylen Brown popped off, and I was watching it, And I went to the finals games too. I was like, oh my, this looks like one of the, if you didn't know any better, like this looks like one of the best players to ever play the game. When I'm sitting this close to him, like he's big, he's huge, he's a great athlete, he is good on defense. And then you see the bad games, but then you look at the advanced stats and it's like, what is it, 10 points better when he's off the floor or some crazy shit like that? And when
he's got a minus 10.1 swing, and it's I don't understand how that happens to that degree. Like with that big of a, it's like that's the whole season. That's not just like last 10 or 15 games or whatever. It's the whole year. And so yeah, I don't know. I'm not like fully on board with like this guy's the worst player in the world or whatever. There's probably a middle ground where I exist, but I don't know. I'm also not like Bill Simmons is like, he's been Kawhi for the whole year, pretty much. Yeah. It's been like Jaylen Brown and Kawhi like the same tier. I'm also like, I don't know about that. All the MVP stuff with him, I'm just like, I would rather see Joe Mazzulla unanimous coach of the year than do like Jaylen Brown maybe MVP stuff.
I'm a big Joe Mazzulla coach of the year guy. I get why it has to be JB Bickerstaff, but I feel like there's a lot of good candidates actually this year for that. No, the crazy Jaylen Brown stat is the one where it's him and Derek White are like a +7, and then Derek White without him is a +20, and then Jaylen Brown without Derek White is a -0.7.
Yeah, I don't know, because Derek White's the other guy where it's like there's all these different factions online of like you like the advanced stats guy or the eye test people or whatever, and I'm always like, if you are really an eye test guy, you should be freaking the fuck out about Derek White this season, because he's somebody who misses like every shot he takes. It's the worst scoring season of his career. But then you watch and it's just like, oh my God, he's literally like saving the game for them on this end of the floor. And I need to go back and watch. They played the Suns 2 nights ago. That was the first night of the back-to-back where they played with the Nuggets. And I know they really ran away with it when they played the Suns. And I assume Derek White had a lot of shit to do with that, the way he always does. But I haven't watched the game yet.
Yeah, I mean, him and Lou Dort are like the inverse of each other, where I know I'm supposed to love Lou Dort, and every time I watch a Thunder game, I'm like, is this guy the worst, like, biggest idiot NBA player of all time? And I just do not understand it, and he shoots 40% from 3, but I feel like I've never seen him hit a 3. It's the most, they're the most inverse players. Because, yeah, Derek White's, I don't even know what he's shooting. For a while there, he was in the 20s from 3 or something like that.
Yeah, he's having an awful year, but he's incredible. Like, it makes no sense. He's having a terrible year, but he's having an incredible year at the same time.
I've always kind of been an eye test guy, mainly because I don't want to learn what all these different stats mean. I like give me the ones that everyone's like, yeah, EPM's pretty good. Okay, cool. Like I can live with that one.
Like when I don't learn what any of them mean, and I just throw them out.
Right, I don't know what EPM is, but they're like, this one's good, so just use it. I'm like, all right, bet.
Cooper better than Con Knipple with this one, and I'm like, bet. Let's fucking roll with that one. Then.
Unfortunately, there's not too many advanced stats that say that one. So that one's where I'm like, yeah, guys, points, rebounds, assists still do matter in the league, man. It's about a bucket at the end of the day. No, but there's new ones that are like 4-year decay Darko. But I'm like, what the fuck is this stat?
Yeah, I don't know what's decaying. I don't know. I don't know about like, and that's like, I don't know. Those are the ones that people point to as like, yeah, 2-year time decay, RAPM or whatever. And I'm like, yeah. Based, okay. I'm sure a lot of work went into it, and I'm sure that like it is, because I see good players doing well in this stat. Like I think one of them, it might be Darko, it might be something else. They had like a really good top 5 where it was like Shea and Jokic and Kawhi and Luka and Giannis or whatever, and then the 5th was like it was like a Peyton Pritchard level player or something like that. Where it's like, okay, I don't know about that, but yeah, it's crazy. I don't know. I'm not a big advanced stats guy, but I guess they work for some people.
It scares me because like some of these people on Twitter are the most insufferable humans, and we're all insufferable, I guess, in our own way. So it is what it is. Mm-hmm. Who am I to judge anybody? But then they'll tweet stuff, and I'll kind of remember it, and then I'll look back on it in a few months and be like, "Fuck, dude, they were right." Like they're honestly probably right more than they're wrong, and I don't want to give them this like ego boost that they clearly don't need. But it's starting to scare me that these guys just might have found it. Because for a while, the advanced stats in basketball were terrible. It'd be like Hassan Whiteside's the 3rd best player in the league by PER. and then you'd watch him play, and it's like, this guy is dreadfully bad at the sport of basketball. But now they might have now this 4-year time decay Darko RPM, like this might just be the stat that they've cracked.
Well, there's
the code.
one Ayo Dosunmu is somebody who people like you and me like, probably.
Right,
like I like
40% from three. Cool.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And the spreadsheet people are like, this is genuinely not even an NBA player. You guys have no idea. And the Wolves, since he got to Minnesota, they've lost his minutes enormously. They're like plus 10 or 15 with him on or with him off, and they're like minus 40 with him on the floor. And so it's just like, damn, maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe I wasn't that locked into the Chicago Bulls while he was getting 20 minutes a game or whatever, but I'm just going to keep doing what I do. I don't really care. I'm already kind of an old man in that way, where it's like I'm not learning anything new. I'm just going to do the exact same things I do right now until I get phased out of this industry or I die, I guess.
Yeah, I was one of the ones that scare me because, like you said, I'll watch him and be like, yeah, he seems good to me. And then the advanced side people are like, this guy's like seriously should quit tomorrow if he had any like shred of dignity. It's like, okay, I guess. I don't know. It seemed pretty cool to me. I'm going to list all the Nuggets players, and you say one word to describe them, similar to the Alex Jones meme.
Oh, shit. Okay. All right.
I just thought of this just now, so I don't think I'm surprised.
Okay. All right. Let's do it.
How about our guy, Tim Hardaway Jr.?
Flamethrower.
Okay. I would have gone Patriot.
Oh, well, I don't have, and first of all, he says several words in that video that I'm not going to say on this live stream.
KJ Simpson.
Mystery. We don't know. He just got here.
KJ Simpson's one of those guys where the first time I saw him in a Nuggets game, I was like, oh, okay. I guess he's on the Nuggets
I think last night was his first game with the Nuggets. Because,
okay, that makes me feel better because last night was the night where I was like, oh, I didn't know KJ Simpson was even in the league.
Yeah. Maybe he was with them a few nights ago, but last night was at least the first where he got like minutes where the game wasn't like 20-point blowout. And he was already like flashing. He was like pointing to Denver on his chest and stuff. And I was like,
I love
damn.
that.
Hey, I guess like, city on his back type shit. I have the confidence for it, but I'm also not an NBA player, so.
Bruce Brown.
Oh my God, love. That's all I have for him, and it's like, even when he was playing poorly to start this year, I was like, I remember the good times, and that's all we got in this life, you know. It's like the good memories that you can cherish and hold on to, and now we have calm little 15 games where his threes are falling. He's playing pretty good defense. He was great on Jaylen Brown last night. He's been a very established physical presence, and so yeah, shout out to Bruce. Love. That's all I got.
Julian Strawther.
I wanted to go. I'll do Flamethrower again. He does Patriot a bunch.
Okay, so you like Julian Strawther?
I do.
Did they pay him?
I don't think so. I don't think yet. That's one thing where it's like since the Peyton Watson money, that's like a big domino that has to fall, obviously. But a lot of people in Nugget circles are like very ahead of the curve. They're like, we got to pay everybody now when they show promise, because otherwise, when they take the leap, then they'll be too expensive for us to retain. And it's like, well, that's probably what they thought when they gave like Zeke Naji 4 years or whatever. But I do think Strawther, in terms of like a nice little scoring punch off the bench, he's already like in the Thunder series last year. He already swung 1 or 2 playoff games for him. And so, yeah, like I don't know. I do like Strawther. I just understand the floor is still really low with him. And they have, like, with Hardaway on the roster, they have other guys who could fill the same role.
I hope Zeke Naji has a good support system, only because I feel badly where people are like, yeah, this is one of the biggest piece of shit contracts in the league. They have no chance of trading this, and he's making $8 million. Like that.
Yeah, I feel bad when I try. There was a moment at the beginning of the year where I was like, this is the bane of my existence. And I was like, maybe he will see one of these, and I would feel terrible about. And so I've tried to cool off on it, but Calvin Booth went on freaking Kevin O'Connor's show the other day talking about how good of a job he did with this team. And so I had to bring up the contract on Twitter again. I was like, I don't think he did that good of a job, dude.
That's just so funny. You're making seven in today's NBA where guys are making like $50 million who can shoot threes at like 38%. Zeke Najee's making 7. Everyone's like, this is the worst. Like this will financially cripple the Nuggets for the next 3 years.
Well, it's because it goes on forever. Yeah,
it's like it's the longest contract. That's how I feel about Zach LaVine's contract too. I'm like, how is he still making $40 million next year? Like, what was that a lifetime deal? I feel like this contract's been in my life for 50 years. Jonas Valanciunas,
bruiser. Honestly,
he was good last night.
Like, well, no, he is good and he's been very good, but he's a guy where it's like, I do genuinely think him being white protects his PR a little bit because he fights so much more than I realized. Like I thought him and Keita literally almost fought in like the first quarter last night. Every time he gets tangled up with somebody, he's like throwing like a little slap at the end or like an elbow or something. And I'm like, hey, when you're on my team, dope. That's great. I love that spark off the bench or whatever. But I certainly think that, like, you know, we see it with Isaiah Stewart now, where Isaiah Stewart's like a really good player. Yeah. And a lot of people are just like, well, he's mostly a fighter, mostly an enforcer or whatever.
Yeah, Jonas has always been a bit of a brute. I always remember dumbass Luka, I don't remember what season it was, fucked his whole entire season up trying to posterize Jonas Valanciunas. And that was really like one of the last times he tried dunking in a serious way. So shout out to Jonas for that. Remember that year he was like 45% from 3?
I do. Yeah,
leading the league.
I love that. I love guys like that, where it's like 4 attempts on the season, 50% from 3, baby. Yeah. He was at least, I think he was good for like one a game or something with the Pelicans. And yeah, it was a fun year. He's a fun guy. He's just, I did not expect it to be so, I expected physicality, but I didn't expect the intensity that comes along with it with him.
He's like a perfect backup for Jokic because they both can do the like high, like dribble handoff, hard screen thing. That's why like Boogie was so good. I always wondered that, like, why don't you just go get one of these passing big men, like you can find for $2 million as the backup instead of like DeAndre Jordan.
Yeah, shout out to DJ. Not too much on freaking NBA champion DeAndre Jordan,
current starter for the Pelicans.
Yeah, what a disaster.
What are they doing?
Yeah, I don't know. But I do. Yeah, Valanciunas. I don't know. There's a lot of guys where it's like, he can pass or something, and then you get him on your team, you're like, oh, okay, not really. Valanciunas, I never had like super high passing hopes for, but the screens have been so sick. That's one thing where it's like, when you look at how good Jamal Murray's been this year, he's never had a screener this good when Jokic has been off the court, and that's been really big.
Well, he also does the cool little like palm the ball into that little water polo pass or whatever they call it, where it's like, that looks sick. And honestly, if I just saw you do that in a pickup game, I would think you're the greatest player of all time. Christian Brown.
Patriot. He is a Patriot. Shaved head this year. Okay. A lot of intensity. I do think he's it's been a tough juxtaposition between him and Peyton Watson this year, where they paid Christian Brown, obviously, and they did not pay Peyton Watson. He's going to be a restricted free agent this offseason. Peyton Watson's been incredible. Christian Brown started the year very, very poorly and then had like a really weird ankle injury that kept him out for a very long time. But overall, I don't know. I like Christian Brown. I think if the Nuggets are going to be like a super serious team, he will be one of the players that improves. The three-pointer will start to fall again, at least at a better clip than it has been for him. And then his defense, I mean, he's one of the only guys that can like keep the Nuggets afloat on that end. It doesn't happen without Aaron Gordon, but both of them, I think, need to be in the picture for the Nuggets to be a good defensive team.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he had the primary Jaylen Brown assignment last night. Like, he's going to get those guys. I would say scary. Like, just paying him, and this has been the year you've gotten. And there was that weird injury, but it's a little scary. Because like, when you pay a guy like Christian Brown and you see like a month of bad play, you're like, oh shit. Like, it's just immediately like, yep, I knew it. Deep down, I fucking knew it.
I knew it was fake, dude. 38% on 3 attempts, that's nothing.
One of my biggest fears the past years for the Mavericks was when Josh Green was there, and it was like, he's going to have like a really good 3-month stretch, and they're going to give him the worst fucking contract of all time. Fortunately, it never happened, but that was one of my big concerns, was that was going to happen at some point. Who else? I mean, Jokic.
Vampire, demon. I mean, beast. Jokic.
What does he mean when he says I honestly couldn't. I don't watch enough Alex Jones.
Maybe he legit means vampire.
I was about to say, he might mean it literally. Like, I didn't know.
Like he's been around for 500 years or whatever. Yeah, no. Jokic, let's say mortal. That would be a good word for him this year.
Next level.
Finally got hurt. He's finally looked a little regular post-injury and stuff. And so, yeah, mortal. Jokic has seemed like more of a human being this season than any other regular season past.
God, the MVP race is just it's become so bizarre. Because there was this little window where if Jokic just came back and was, Jokic, that he would be the favorite right now with SGA out. But he hasn't played that great. And SGA's now missed enough time where you're like, okay, should we start getting worried about, like...
Hey,
Luka winning his MVP this year would be hilarious if it was just, well, I guess Luka's winning it this time.
Well, I'm thinking the other way. So on the State of the League podcast, we did a whole episode about this maybe a month and a half ago, where we broke down the funniest realistic all NBA teams and stuff. And there are a number of guys, like back then LeBron hadn't quite missed the cutoff. I think Steph hadn't missed the cutoff yet either. Both of those guys are eliminated. And so really, if Jokic misses the cutoff, that's immediately what I pivot to. It's just the most ridiculous outcome, rooting for that. And so I feel like it's even crazier for Shea and Jokic to both die, and Luka still loses the MVP.
Yeah.
Like it's like the one season where it's possible, and then it's like, the Pistons are crazy this year. We gotta give it to Cade, baby.
Dude, Cade winning MVP over Luka. I just can't imagine the Twitter outcry from the Luka stands. Man, that's been an adventurous last few days.
I wanted to ask you this. Do you still feel like, because I don't follow any Luka people on Twitter, do you feel like the Luka support circle on Twitter is the smallest it's been in a long time? Like, I feel like he's got more haters than ever.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely feel like there was a stretch, and there always is. I made this point yesterday where, like, when you're a young player, you come in and you're incredible immediately, everyone loves you and adores you. Like, you might have one or two vocal hate, but, like, for the most part, everyone's like, this is the future face of the league. We love him. He's going to be top 5 all time. He's going to win 8 rings. He's going to all this. And then, obviously that doesn't happen because it never does. And then it'll be you're 6 or 7 and people are like, dude, you're horrible. What? Like, you're so overrated and trash. And so, yeah, I think the national media support is by far the lowest it's ever been. I would say for the last 2 years, though. I mean, the finals, and look, I was at that game 3. It was horribly bad, just to be completely and totally transparent. That was really bad that summer, even after a finals run. This is by far the worst. But his, like, tight, Luka stand circle, they are vicious. And they'll come after you, and they'll send you death threats and, some Slavic language, and it's terrifying. And they'll speak English to you. I mean, I'm sure, I don't know, you're a big Jokic. I don't know, has a Jokic stand ever came at you for not, riding too hard for him?
Honestly, no. I feel like it's always American people, or at least people who are like, their Google Translate is really good, and it just makes it sound like regular.
The Slovenian one's not good. They'll be like, you fuck bitch, you fat fuck. I'm like, whoa, dude, like, come on, man. I just said I wanted him to get back on defense. Like, that's literally all I said. I don't need all of this. But yeah, it's interesting. I don't know what it is. I feel like it. Jason Timpf had a monologue. Did you hear what he had to say about this?
I didn't watch it. I saw it came up on my feed, but I didn't see it. Let me hear it.
It actually was, and I actually agreed with him in what he said. Was that out of all the top guys, Luka's obviously in that mix of like the top 4, the consensus top 4 of Jokic, Shea, and Giannis, and Wemby is like slowly creeping into that. But out of those guys, he probably has the lowest floor and the highest ceiling. So like. He has, because of his play style, just this floor that he can get to where it looks really ugly. And that's why there is this reaction. I was like, what? That's probably the best way to describe it.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with that. Ceiling, I have no idea. And
he said he has the highest ceiling out of all of those guys.
Yeah, I don't know about that. But it's fine. That's not, I don't know. Like, I don't think it's very productive to be like Like I don't feel the need to introduce any more negativity into the Luka sphere right now. I feel like that part of it is like pretty well covered.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I feel like I just were you happy? So do you still root for Luka? You still want good things for Luka outside of Dallas, you would say.
If Luka demanded a trade or what left in free agency to somewhere else, I would be way more in.
Okay.
I can't do
right.
the Lakers
Fuck
thing. I mean, that's
like...
it. I cannot do the Lakers thing. I've tried. Somebody left a funny comment on my channel because it is true. I'm a big LeBron's the GOAT guy. He's one of my favorite athletes ever. Luka's obviously one of my favorite players ever. They're playing on the same team, and yet I just cannot root for him because, and I don't even hate the Lakers. Like, I've rooted for them in the past, but it's just the fact that they, stole my boy, and that's really it.
Yeah. Well, I would say, wait, what the hell? I totally just lost my train of thought. We were talking about
like
Luka and I got it now. I wish the Lakers, or I feel like the Luka negativity sphere is worse than it should be because the Lakers have built. This is a very bad roster for Luka with old man LeBron. Dominating has been about as bad as I expected him to be and everything. And then Reeves, shout out to Austin Reeves, very good story from like undrafted or would have gone in the second round or whatever to like legit all-star level player, but still not so like I don't know. I just don't love the roster construction around Luka, and I feel like it's making all the perception of him much worse than it needs to be.
Yeah, it's just and then you have to also factor in the LeBron angle where it's like this is how LeBron teams get talked about, where like they need to win, and then there always is a scapegoat, and it's way to a lesser extent now than it was like in 2016 when Kevin Love would just be getting destroyed every single night on every single talk show. But yeah, it's become. It is really bizarre because yesterday it was like every show talked about it, and it was like, yeah, Luka's a crybaby, and he'll never win. And it's like they get their talking points from someone is what it feels like almost. I don't know who it is. The big ESPN. They're sending out a memo. Did you see Jeffrey Epstein?
I don't know. Well, I did read his sports column back when it was out. Like I was around all the time, and I was like, "Damn, no, I wasn't actually."
You were subscribed to the newsletter.
Yeah, I wish it would have been. That would be a fun little anecdote. As I was reading what I did read the screenshots that were going around. Not the most in-depth stuff in the world, but it made me re-examine the shit I say. Because I'm like, if I can't provide more serious commentary than Jeffrey Epstein, I should like be applying myself more to this line of work or whatever. His was just like, the Nets are terrible. Yeah. It's going to be a while before they're good again. But everybody's terrible sometimes. On to the next team. And so, yeah, I guess he had a lot of other stuff going on. I don't know how focused he was on the sports column.
Well, it was a team of like Filipinos who they hired to translate other sports columns. It wasn't him, unfortunately. That was the unfortunate thing, right? Where
is it real? Like he wasn't writing that?
No, he was not writing that. They did it so they could like PR push the Google search. So when you search Jeffrey Epstein, it was Raptors win versus like Jeffrey Epstein charged with child sex trafficking.
Yeah, I think they got in right at I think they're going to cover it up that way. I think they got in right at the boiling point.
I was thinking of this funny bit where, a young, aspiring, hungry sports journalist leaves college and finally gets a writing gig. And they're like, I got it, Mom. This JeffreyEpsteinSports.com.
Jeffrey Epstein.
I'm going to be covering the Knicks.
Yeah. And so, damn, shout out to disgraced sports journalist who got one big shot and then probably also got like strong-armed into all of the trials that are going to happen and everything. I know Hillary Clinton was in there today, but I haven't seen anything about it yet. I've mostly been
she's testifying today.
Yeah, and all I saw was that she said she's never met Jeffrey Epstein, and so that was really surprising. I expected it to be a big expose about everything.
No, those things are always, unless they know they can get quick and little easy points, and then they can just roast Pam Bondi, which was hilarious, but it was made me want to rip my hair out. But yeah,
I love the scroller at the bottom of the screen. I've never been on something with so much production value, and so I love us pivoting to Jeffrey
yeah.
Epstein, and it just at the bottom says, "Subscribe to the Haymaker Network for more sports, baby."
That's right. That's right. Jeffrey Epstein, sports, and Jeffrey Epstein here at the we're the only sports network that is actively covering the Jeffrey Epstein files as well. No, I can't believe that wasn't a bigger thing because I saw that and it was a real website. Obviously, he didn't write it, but I was like, this is hilariously funny that there is a Jeffrey Epstein sports website that was talking about Rajon Rondo. Like, he did a whole article about, like, yeah, Rajon Rondo, like, might be the best player on the Celtics. Back in 2010, I'm like, oh, shit.
Okay, nice. You know he's leading the league in assists, guys, and they're like, dude, just make the plane take off. I'm not trying to talk to you about the Celtics. Bill Gates or whatever is like, I just don't believe. I think Kevin Garnett's too old.
Yeah, I read your
like
column
that.
today, Jeff. I don't know, man. I don't know about the Celtics this year. Would you have that on your resume if you were one of the people who were writing those articles? Is that like, yeah, I was there for 2 years, but I was a sports blog. What blog? I forgot. It's not there anymore.
Yeah, I bounced around for a while. I don't know what's better. Because I also have never. I've been a sports influencer since I graduated from college, and so I've never had to. Is it better to have a 2-year gap on your resume? Or is it better to have 2 years working at sports.jeffreyepstein.org? I don't know which one employers are more concerned about.
Yeah, I feel like you almost have to own it. It's like, yep. And I was responsible for pushing down the child sex trafficking searches on Google.
Eminem 8 Mile type shit.
I didn't know I was doing it, but it worked. That's what I would say. I was unaware.
Nice. They paid me to write about Rondo. And I did, and that's all that we had to do with that. And so, yeah, I don't know.
Imagine like a hiring agency, you send out your your past work, your portfolio, and they're reading like, it's a good article. What, Jeffrey Epstein sports? The fuck?
Epstein sports.
Yeah,
okay.
just ignore that.
Guys,
ignore that part.
We'll just keep, it's just about the writing. You had to get it published. Every news outlet has something bad going on, okay? It's just, this one particularly had a couple nastier things.
I will say, in college, I got like a little unpaid gig writing about the Texas Rangers for a website, and I got it through a Reddit post. So that they don't care where you write.
That's nice. I started a Substack when Luka got traded, and I've written 2 things on it ever since. And so, Substack.com/Jokic Joestar or whatever.
It's a great ad for that.
yeah, it's really boom. Every couple months, I'm like, I should get back into that. And then I'm like, I sit down at my computer. I'm like, print's dying. I don't care about this stuff. No one reads anything anymore. And then I walk away from it. But it's a good feeling of accomplishment when you get something put down to paper.
It is. Writing is great, but I would never do it again, ever. Did you see this? That Atlanta Hawks are doing Magic City night?
Magic City... The wing
Monday.
place?
Yeah.
The Wings restaurant?
Yeah. The Wings restaurant. Some of the best wings in town.
Yeah.
They're giving out.
Well, that's good. I don't know.
Magic City hoodies.
Oh, okay. If I was a parent, I don't know how cool I would be. But I'm not a parent, and I just wouldn't. I don't know. People aren't dumb. There probably won't be that many kids there, I guess. And so... whatever. That's a fun little collab.
Top reply, Rob Perez. Will kid sizes be available?
Oh, okay. Thanks. Shout out, Rob. That's the guy who follows like 1 million people on Twitter, right?
I had to unfollow him because he wasn't following me, and I was like, all right, so you follow 1.2 million people, and I didn't make the cut. So that made me think, all right, man, you're done for me.
Well, that's the same. I'm the same way, where it's like, and there have been funny screenshots about this, where it's like someone with 3 followers, one of them is Rob Perez.
Yeah.
It's like, how did I miss the cut? I'm on here all the time, and I talk about basketball. How are you not following me? But yeah, shout out to Worldwide Wob, I suppose.
1.2 million following. That is lunacy. But I like this, actually. I know that, yeah, and they are framing it, they're advertising it like, guys, it's the Wings place. I think it's funny. Let's go. Like I said, this is an entertainment industry. Let's buy in. I think every team should do this based off the culture owner. Like I know, like March 16th, Mossad night at American Airlines Center. Every first 5,000
shit.
fans get a Palantir drone fully functioning.
Okay. Well, I've been on the grind. I think the Wizards should rebrand to something more militaristic. If they're like, if you're not going to embrace the silliness of being a wizard, then you should be like the Washington Drones or something like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. I feel like that could fit in pretty well. I've also been like, we were talking about this on the pod the other day. When Washington rebrands, it's a team that should always reflect like the state of the country and everything being the nation's capital. And so Washington should just have like a very evil rebrand for the next 4 years. Like it's all like black and red and gray and stuff, and like it just looks like a fascist empire when you wipe out over the crowd. I feel like that would be cool. And Trae Young and Anthony Davis. It's the start of a new era. So you could be the evil Wizards.
Yeah, someone in the chat said the Grand Wizards.
Okay. Okay.
That's a step in the right direction. I like where your head's at.
I can see it. Okay. I wasn't going right there, but you know, we can tweak it. We can workshop it.
Yeah, I hate that the Wizards don't just do some gimmicky ass Wizards thing. Like, why are they so against their own brand? It makes no sense to me. Their current brand is so boring.
I know. It's one of the worst in the because their brand right now is still like really like 2018. I feel like that's probably the last time they rebranded, where it's like it's all still very sleek lines and like minimalist, and the colors suck, and there's nothing like every year when they do their cherry blossom stuff, everyone's like, oh, this is way cooler than everything else you do the entire season. You should just stick with this. And so, yeah, I think if they hit on a big pick this year, I would expect a rebrand from them.
Well, we've been saying about the Mavs for like 20, 30 years, where it's like, all right, Luka, it's time for the rebrand. Never came. All right, Luka's gone. Cooper's here. It's time for a rebrand.
They knew, dude. Nico said, guys, don't do it. Don't do the just wait. You're not gonna want to rebrand for a couple more seasons.
I honestly don't even like this is one of my unpopular opinions. I really don't even like the cherry blossom jerseys that much.
I don't
just think
like
pink is such a cop out. So it's like, we put pink on the jerseys, guys. It's like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I want a wizard on the front. I want a wizard that takes up the whole front of the jersey.
Yes, I want like a guy casting a spell on the warm-ups or whatever. Like I want a literal human being on the front of the jersey shooting some shit out of a wand. I don't know. I don't hate the cherry blossoms, but I do feel like it's like a gimmick that a bad, boring team has started to fall back on a lot. It's more so that the rest of their stuff just sucks to me.
Yeah, it's one of those where like when they first introduce it, it's like, oh, okay, and then by year 2, it's like, yeah, well, okay. That's when baseball does their like city jerseys, and they're cool for like 3 weeks, and then as a Rangers fan, I'm like, I don't want to see that fucking Peagle ever again, or whatever it's called. And they still trot it out there. Like those, here's the thing about those type of when you have your established jerseys, it's cool. But once you have like the alternate jerseys, which I'm a fan of, and I think they should cycle every year. But like the gimmicky jerseys, once you see one of your favorite players like tear their ACL in the gimmicky jerseys, and it's like that jersey should never be worn again.
Yeah, I guess I don't remember what Jamal Murray was wearing when he tore his ACL. I can't speak to that feeling, but I'm always like, I am fine with the alternate jerseys. I wish there was like a more established, consistent like roster of uniforms that teams would like regularly have. I don't like 5 new jerseys for every team every year. I feel like that's a bit much, because I feel like there's no way you can like establish a visual identity with like a really cool era of a team the way, I guess, I don't know, my brain just went to like the Lob City Clippers, which don't have like crazy uniforms or anything, but I do remember like those uniforms, and I remember Blake Griffin dunking in them, and I just don't know if that's something that really happens with teams anymore.
Yeah, I agree. I think that teams should change jerseys the moment. I guess maybe it's hard to tell that there's an era shift happening in the moment, unless there's just like big roster turnover. But yeah, there should be like a dedicated, okay, yeah, that was the Lob City Clippers, and now I guess they did do that when they changed to whatever they've got going on now. But whenever, Benedict Mathurin becomes the star of the team and Kawhi's been banned from the NBA, then it's time to move on to another, type of jersey.
Yeah. I was ready to talk. I wrote shit down about the Nuggets, and Mathurin was in my Nuggets notes because he nuked. The Nuggets have been a terrible clutch team since Jokic came back, really all season. And recently, Mathurin gave him 16 in the fourth quarter. That was people think Mathurin's going to be a star, but it's really just because he played the Nuggets defense. You need to wake up to these opponents.
He's one of those stat sheet or spreadsheet guys where they're like, this guy is dreadfully bad and horrible at the sport. And then you watch him, you're like, I don't know. He seems pretty good to me. Like,
he's the one I see the most nerds being like, I can't give up on him. He's got some special traits, baby.
I mean, Cam Thomas. That one passes the eye test though too. Like when you watch him, you're like, whoa, why did he just shoot that one? Like that player matches the eye test, and he'll do, he'll obviously hit a couple really cool shots where the ball don't stop in you. Is like, oh, this guy, why is he not getting $50 million and taking 40 shots a game? But then you watch his whole game. That's kind of how Rob Dillingham. Whenever I saw college Rob Dillingham stuff, I'm like, there's no way in fuck this guy's going to be good. No way.
Oh, damn. Okay.
That's how I feel about it. I'm going to be honest. I'm not a draft guy. Pablo's more of the draft guy, isn't he?
Yes, I don't know shit about I know very tentative stuff about this draft, but if you want to nuke AJ DeBanza, go ahead. We can cook him.
I like AJ DeBanza. I'm more like Darius Acuff because the Mavs fans love him, and that's kind of like he falls in the 7th or 8th range of the draft. Mm-hmm. And I'm like 6'2" guard who every highlight I see is him doing some nice looking move, but I close my eyes and I'm like, will this work against Asar Thompson? And then I'm like, yeah, no, I'm out on him.
Maybe Reed Shepherd, you get the switch. You get a guy the same size as you. No more small guards. So that's the official stance of the State of the League podcast. It's a fascist stance, I suppose. But I just when I look at Darius Acuff, I'm like, dude, it would be cool if you work out. But if my team, especially this is the last year the Mavs own their pick for a while, right?
Yes. 5 years.
Gotta hit. That's a big pressure to hit.
They've got protections on the 2027 pick. Top one.
What are they?
Top one.
Okay. Well, that's nice. Just make the play in again. And
that's
you guys
right.
maybe the ping pong balls will go the exact same way. Yeah, you did want to talk to me about tanking. I wanted to okay, so I think the Mavs are clearly tier 2 of tanking teams. There's 4 or 5 that are real. They've spent the whole year being completely awful. Do you expect the Mavericks to really focus on losing games down the stretch this season? Or do you think it'll be more I want Cooper to develop every opportunity he gets? Or do you think those kind of coexist? Because they're not that good with him anyways, right?
They can coexist, but this dumbass team is not going to tank. And they're just bad and injured. They're not, they haven't done anything besides trading AD, which I guess you could kind of qualify as being a little bit of a tanking move.
Well, they got Bagley, who's better.
True.
So, now you're in trouble.
AD was probably not going to play, and then Bagley comes in, has been good. Chris Middleton's been good. So, yeah, I think – but a couple nights ago they played the Nets, and that's okay, both these teams are tanking. The game was close in the fourth quarter. The tanking logic is, all right, A.J. Johnson, get out there. You're going to close this game tonight. We just want to see it, right? Take every shot in the last 4 minutes. But, no, they tried their little hearts out. Najee Marshall's playing 38 minutes. PJ, when he's healthy, is playing 36 minutes. They're legitimately trying with the group they have. So, yeah, it is pretty frustrating, but I don't know. What am I supposed to do? I feel bad when Brandon Williams is popping off, and deep down, I'm like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? Come on, please chill out. But I am he's good. It's a cool story that he's carved out this role for himself, and I want him to do good.
Well, at least he's a guy that you could theoretically sell yourself on, maybe that's rotation guy in the Cooper era or whatever. The Wizards have been doing the same thing, but it's with guys who are getting a second 10-day contract or something, 25 points, 10 points in the fourth quarter from Sharif Cooper or whatever. Shout out to Sharif Cooper. I don't mean disrespect to anybody when I talk like this, but as someone who wants to see the Wizards get a good pick, it is super. It's like, damn, dude. I know you gotta like get your contract or whatever, but I cannot believe you just led this team to a win. That's fucking crazy.
I actually think in some ways what the Wizards are doing is more despicable than what the Jazz are doing, because they're just like benching second year guys. And that's like, dude, like you're supposed to have Sar and Keontae George out there, or Keyshawn George out there. Like you're supposed to have those guys out there. That's the whole point of this whole thing. And they're like, no,
his hamstring hurts, so we're not gonna do it. And what's crazy, like, I feel like, well, because the Jazz also did it to some extent, and I don't know what they're gonna do down the stretch here, because
they might kill somebody on their team.
I mean, Keontae George, you need to like have security around you. I do not know what's gonna happen with you. The Jazz would just bench guys. The Wizards are like, he's hurt. Everybody's hurt right now. And so I would argue the only honorable thing I know Washington is doing is they are acting like Trae Young and AD are both trying to play basketball this year, which if they take the floor, to me, it would make up for some of what you're describing. But at the same time, it's just like there's no honor among any of these fucking people. The Nets and the Jazz and everybody who's trying to tank, much less like the Pelicans or whoever that are just terrible. There's like a third of the league that's just awful.
I'll throw the Nets some bail because they have like a pretty good, like decent, like not good, but like decent starting five, and Clowney, Claxton, and MPJ are like a good trio when they play. But what they'll do is they'll have these bench lineups. They're like all five of their rookies, or like three of their five rookies who are all terrible. And they'll go out there for 20 minutes and just lose those minutes by 40. That's what you're supposed to do.
Danny Wolf, get up here, pal. I need some Danny Wolf minutes right now.
Like that to me is ethical, because it's like, yeah, there's young guys that they do factor into your future plans. Let them go out there and be dreadful for the next 15. Like if the Mavs are serious, AJ Johnson be getting 35 minutes a game.
Yes, that's one of the Wizards last year had the same experience. They embraced the AJ Johnson minutes, and so you would get like 20 minutes, or you would get like 20 points in 40 minutes from AJ Johnson, and people were like, dude, this plus the athleticism, this is a guy. When he got shipped in the AD move, I did see people on the timeline like, damn. Well, you probably saw it too, where it's like everybody who's raw is just SGA before he got good now. Like those
I was literally just about to say, if you are a young player in a big trade as like a kind of afterthought piece, and SGA wasn't an afterthought piece, but like you're young and you haven't been great yet, congratulations, you're getting SGA comparisons for the next like probably like 16 months before people are like, oh, this guy's just fucking terrible.
Yeah,
God bless him.
Yeah.
That's how Max Christie was. Max Christie, for a while, I was like, dude, he could be SGA, and it's like, yeah, he's good. He's a really solid like 3-and-D guy, and that's probably and there's nothing wrong with that at all. He'll make $20 million a year on his next contract. And that'll be
that's like, I feel better for him. Like that's like the category of guy where I start to feel more comfortable, like, shitting on him or whatever. When it's a guy who's like, I don't know where AJ Johnson will be in 4 years, then I start to feel a little worse, where it's like, oh man, I look back 5 years now, he's in Greece or whatever, and it's like, oh jeez, I was really mean to him back in 2026.
That's why I try to preface the AJ Johnson thing I say, because I've had Mavs fans are like, dude, AJ Johnson, and I'm like, I'm just gonna be real with you, AJ Johnson's terrible, and I God bless the guy. I don't mean it in a mean spirited way, but he's just not good, and he's probably not going to be good at any point in his career. So shout out to him. What
about Mo Bamba? Oh, you go. Sorry.
No, Mo Bamba was. And Mo Bamba, so the 2018 draft, funny enough, and I have no proof of this because I did not have a digital footprint at the time, but the 2018 draft was the hardest I've ever gone in on a draft, and fuck, I wish I had my big board, because I look like I could probably be working in a front office if I was able to send people out. I was like, Luka. Mo Bamba's terrible. Ayton, I knew Ayton's problems. Bagley, terrible. Trae Young, because there was like this weird Trae Young thing where I don't know where he would go in a redraft actually, but like people were really low on him. And I think
I have no idea. Redraft with him is very interesting because it is like a good question of how many like high level role players would teams rather have in that draft than
like, are you taking Mikal Bridges over Trae? Probably.
Hey, I mean, depends on are we getting a new contract? And I don't have to give up any picks to get Mikal Bridges' whole perception now is just like it's completely screwed because of the money that he's on and the way the Knicks had to go get him. If he was in a vacuum, it's just like it's a fine role player, I guess. But yeah, Trey, God bless Trey too. Excited to watch him in the district next year, but I don't. There's a reason he's on the Wizards now.
Man, it's crazy because he went 5th in the actual draft. And I honestly don't know if he'd be top 5 just looking at it, which is in my brain, I would immediately say, yeah, of course. But obviously, Luka going over him, Shea going over him, Jaren Jackson Jr. going over him, certainly. I would probably guess most teams would take Mikal Bridges over him. Jalen Brunson, there's 5 right there.
Damn. I'll give him I would give him the nod over Mikal. I'll be a trade defender here.
Yeah.
It's just I also do wonder I wonder how many teams feel confident they could do a better job building around Trey than the Hawks did. I feel like the DeJounte Murray thing was a big wrench in all of their build like progress that they were building, but at the same time, it's just like Trey is the archetype. You have to put so much effort into building this thing just to be like 48 wins and like a scrappy kind of playoff team. So yeah, I wouldn't get mad at it.
Yeah, he's I've been a big trade defender most of his career, but I am pretty much no small guards now. That's pretty much exactly right. And Brunson too. When we talk about Acuff and people say the best case scenario and they're pointing to all these other small guards, I'm like, well, it's proven how hard it is to win with Brunson. I mean, they've put together this really good team, and they got to the conference finals, which is great. But
Brunson is Brunson is one of the best offensive guys at that size ever. Like he is an insanely talented offensive player.
The fact too.
I mean, yeah, like the way he does it with like the paint pressure and everything. And the fact that he was like still, if you go, like when you're watching that Pacers series, he was still like some of those minutes were as rough as they were. It's just like, I don't know, like how can I expect reasonably the guy I draft to be better than this guy? And can they win with this guy? I have no idea.
Because what's the ones you point to, like Maxey, and it's like, well, that team hasn't made it past the second round ever, and maybe no fault to Maxey, but like, none of these guys have won really, and I guess if maybe that's a bad way of looking at it, because hey, if you make it to the conference finals, that's there's nothing to be ashamed of there. Like someone said, what about Cason Wallace? But Cason Wallace is a completely different player than like Acuff, right?
Yeah, I'm fine. It's more the ratio of how much money is being allotted for a small guard. Like if a small guard is a rotation piece, that's like they're not going to disappear overnight. Yeah, shout out to Pritchard, freaking clamps by Demon Nuggets, but no big deal. Shout out to Cason Wallace, like guys that are either extremely skilled or have incredible. Like Cason Wallace's wingspan is enormous. On top of how good he actually is, like he has really good physical tools for a guy that size. But max contracts for them, I just don't know if that's going to continue to be a thing.
Yeah, that's true. The moment Cason Wallace is making like $30+ million a year, that's when it's like,
oh damn. What's the salary cap look like? Okay, it's $4 billion. So we've got enough room for everybody.
I was going to get into some of the tanking talk, but that's we could ramble on for so long about it. And honestly, I'm just kind of done talking about it at this point.
Well, it is annoying. My whole thing, the only thing I really care to say at this point is that I feel like the league has a responsibility to at least be neutral towards small market teams in terms of like, if I'm someone who doesn't watch basketball and I ask the question, why should I watch the Jazz or the Wizards? Why should I become a fan of a team like this? It's totally fine for a different fan to be like, you shouldn't. They stink. But for the league to behave in a way that communicates to people it's pointless to be a fan of this team, I think that's so lame. Like, I really hate that.
What do you mean by, like, do you think the league's doing that?
I just think like all of this talk about like tanking and like the countermeasures that are going to be put in place, I feel like more likely than not will just make it so that teams are bad for longer. Teams that aren't incredibly lucky with like when there's like an important guy at the top of the draft, they just kind of get like stuck in mediocrity for an extended period of time. And I feel like I don't know, like there's just I'm of the opinion that generally tanking works, and you have to be either extremely incompetent or extremely unlucky to be a team that is like still trying to lose 7 years into the rebuilding process or something.
Yeah, that makes total sense. I don't. If I were, and I've said this, if I were the commissioner, I think I'd probably have more of an iron fist. Like, I think part of it is just the discourse surrounding it is so vocal and loud that it's hard to, like, this happens every year around this time. The All-Star break-ins. We had the high from the trade deadline, and then now that's gone, and it's like, you know, doing Molly or something. Now you're coming down and you feel terrible and like the world's awful. And now we're like, oh, this league's fucking terrible. Like, what on earth? I'm a fan of this piece of shit garbage. Like, what? How are we gonna fix this league? And then the playoffs start, and everyone's like, oh, actually, this sport's incredible, and I love it.
This is the best. Yeah. I don't know. It's tough because also like there's a million things that everybody knows where it's like the short season works, but it makes less money for everybody. So even like the players wouldn't be on board with it. But that means you have to slog through this February, March stuff where none of the basketball really matters. And like half the teams are trying to lose. It's ridiculous, man.
There's no fix to everyone will tank. That's why I've become, if you are a big time anti-tank guy, and that's like your thing, I'm going to spend the next 3 months talking about how horrible tanking is for the league. Okay, either propose we're going to do flattened odds or we're getting rid of the draft. Otherwise, please stop complaining about it because it'll never go away ever. No matter what little rules you add in, like, oh, this pick actually, like this spot in the standings actually gets the highest odds, everyone's just going to tank. It'll always lead back to tanking. Always, no matter what. So... if you're one of those guys, you better be watching the games like that. Like nobody watches any of these games anyways. So like really complaining about the quality of the product. Like I guess that, you know, you do want every game to be as good as possible, but I feel like a lot of people are just like finding something that is not that hot of a take to criticize compared to like more serious problems with the league, I guess. But it's whatever. I don't give a fuck. I don't. Everybody is so negative around this time of the year, and you and I are doing it too. We're negative Nancy's. See, I feel fine being negative myself because I feel like I'm coming from a place of genuine love. Like, I do love the league, and I will sit down and I will watch the Pacers and Nets. Like, I will sit down and I will watch it, and by the end of it, I'll be like, oh, my God, who the fuck were the last 5 guys who scored buckets for the Pacers? I've never even heard of them. But then, like... people just give in to the like Jacob the Clippers who just spend all day on Twitter who are like, this league is terrible. It was so much better in the 90s. Like they would have killed.
This game was better when Kobe was playing, dude. That's every Jacob the Clippers. You know, Kobe would never let this shit slide, man.
Yeah. They would have actually stoned LeBron in the 90s on the court. The fans would have been giving stones going into the arena and he would not have made it out. And it's like, these guys like lead the conversation, funny enough. They're like at the focal point.
That used to be, before Kevin Durant, something happened, and he's not on Twitter anymore. That used to be a guy he would go back and forth with on Twitter a lot.
Oh, he's still on there for sure. Like, Kevin Durant is, there's no quitting for him. He's not, it's like when you're an addict, you have to want to quit, or otherwise you're never going to quit. There's no way Kevin Durant wants to quit Twitter just yet. Maybe ever.
I wonder. I would love to be a fly on the wall for like, I bet there's been a couple hours where he's been like, social media detox, I'm taking a break. And I wonder what that's like in his house or whatever. He's like, I got to go to the gym now because otherwise I'm going to lose my mind.
As a guy who has sometimes a bad screen problem, I will say every now and then I'll just like plug my phone in and leave it in another room. And I'll just be sitting like reading or something. I'm like, dude, I feel like completely like I feel so performative. Like for 30 minutes, I'm like, all right, let me go get my phone. But in that 30 minutes, I'm like, I'm a free, like, the world doesn't matter to me. I'm so, like, well,
sometimes it can click for me, but I'm terrible. I have my phone next to me while I read, and I do, like, a brain rot, like, I got a page in. Let me see what's up on Twitter or something.
I cannot have my phone by me when I read, ever, because then it gets really bad. But I will say, I did a thing a couple years ago when I went to Europe, and I Like, it was right when free agency was starting, and I deleted all my social media apps, and I came back. I genuinely did not know what happened in free agency the first couple weeks. And people were.
Do you remember what year? Like what you came back and it was like, holy,
yeah, it was right.
They
after,
didn't re-sign Brunson. No,
it was a couple years ago. So it was the Paul George to the Sixers. Mavs just made the finals. They got Clay, and I knew they were getting Clay before I left, so that one wasn't like surprising to me. But yeah, it was kind of fun, and it worked. It was way easier than I thought, but I would never do it again against my will or on my own free will.
When I went to Europe last summer, and it was for a friend's wedding, and I didn't realize it at the time, but it was in the middle. I had to wake up at like 4 a.m. to watch Game 5 of the NBA Finals, and that was it sucked. I think I'd set my alarm to wake up for like the fourth quarter of the finals, and it was a pretty good game. I think it was when J-Dub had 40 or whatever, but yeah. Well, I mean, just terrible planning on my part. That was so stupid.
Man, the European fans, I have so much respect for, because they are up at like 3 a.m. watching these games. And so when they get a little bit of an attitude at me sometimes, if I like didn't defend their favorite player, you know what, I do understand it, because it's like 5 a.m. there.
Yeah, you're more serious than I am, honestly.
You know what? You got it. You are right. I am a fuck
like
bitch.
That feeling of staying up, especially because I'm on the East Coast, like staying up coast to coast Tuesdays or whatever. It's like 1:30 in the morning, and the Nuggets just blew a fourth quarter lead or whatever, and then I close my computer and it's just silence. Having that be like 5 a.m. and having to like go to work after, I couldn't get on board with that.
Well, I actually thought it was peaceful whenever I was in Europe a few months ago. And you know, the Mavs to me were already dead at that point, so it didn't really matter. But there was something nice about waking up in the morning, open up my phone, I check the score. Okay, I already know what happened. Maybe I'll go back and watch.
That's such a hilarious routine. Oh, Mavs got fucking bodied by 25. Let me have a good day today.
Open up Twitter. I see. Oh, Cooper Flag had a bad game. Fuck, my whole entire day's ruined now, because that's all I'll be thinking about for the next 12 hours.
What did Khan do? No, he's good again.
That's how I've been recently. Coop hasn't played in damn near a month, and I'll look, and Khan Knipple is always like 10 of 11 from the field and 8 of 9 from 3. I'm like, how does he? I look at his percentages, and it doesn't even make sense to me, because it feels like he's 60% from 3. I've never seen him miss a shot.
I know. Yeah, it's like I feel like he has to have like off nights that I don't watch, where he's like 2 of 9 or something, because when I tune in, he is always like 4 of 8 or whatever, and he has a great fourth, and he's so poised and polished, and I'm just like, damn, what a shout out to the Hornets. It's good. I don't care who wins the award at all. It's nice that the Mavs got Coop, fucking rigged, whatever, and it's nice that the Hornets finally hit on a guy that hard. Both of those made me happy to see.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little bit worried, because I just need Coop to come back and just start scoring 35 points again. Like, it doesn't matter. Don't look at his plus minus. It is what it is. He put up 40 points. We all saw the highlights on House of Highlights, and now he's going to win Rookie of the Year. So that's and I'll know deep down that what the advanced stats say, but it won't matter to me. It will not matter to me.
See, what's funny? I had Matthew Sponhauer on the pod a few weeks ago, and he, in like a dumb mocking voice, made that exact sentence where he was like, oh, dude, Cooper had 40 and everybody saw the highlights, so I guess Wakanda doesn't matter anymore. And he's a Hornets fan, so it makes him mad. But hearing it as a positive thing from you, it's very funny.
Well, I at least recognize it. Where I'm like, no, guys, efficient. Like, why does efficiency even matter? Like, who cares? I need to
clip, bro.
I need to have ball and stop on. I'm just like, yeah, you're right. Efficiency doesn't matter at all. Like, who cares?
Nice.
That's not how you win games.
To that. Yes, that's what. Well, because if Khan really had that killer mentality, he would also be 50% true shooting, and he would be averaging 30. He would just be bombing everything the second he touched the ball.
I forgot, one college coach famously said, I forgot who it was, but if you're shooting 40% from 3, you're not shooting enough. So it's actually a knock against Khan.
He's a loser, dude, and he's old. I love being like just way too old to be talking about people like this anymore, where it's like 21-year-old rookie. Was this guy a fucking mummy? Oh my God.
This past summer was one of the oldest I've ever felt. I bought a Cooper Flag jersey, and I was like, I don't know about this one. Like, this is a little weird.
2002? Golly, man.
He was like
freaking younger than Ben 10.
2002, dude. 2006.
Oh.
He was like 8 months old whenever the Mavs went to the finals in 2006. I'm like, yeah, this one feels a little strange. Like,
hell yeah. The freaking inevitable creeping of time, ladies and gentlemen. One day you wake up and your entire life has passed you by and you say, it's not over. It's been over for years. You're old. Give it up, baby.
I'm a subscriber to the Gary V. Oh, you're 40 years old? You're a fucking baby. You're just a little child.
Well, 40 is very young, but 30, it like resets somewhere in there where it's like you lose it and then you get it back.
Well, I've heard people say 30 is the like 30 is not that bad of a year. 31 is where you're like, oh fuck. Like now, like when you turn 30, it's like, oh, the 30s are gonna be a golden decade for like, let's go. And then 31's like, whoa, we got off to a rough start.
My beautiful fiance is about to turn 30, and so for her, obviously, it'll be an incredible decade full of prosperity, and it'll be a perfect life. But for everybody else, that's what I'm describing.
I'm going to be Chinese in my 30s. Like that's kind of where I'm at, just in a lot of ways.
Ni hao. Okay,
that's right.
All right.
I'm just adopting a lot of their beliefs. Year of the horse. And
nice. I bought a shirt on Depop the other day from a museum collection of the terracotta warriors. It's got like a bunch of colorful terracotta warriors on it. It says warriors, tombs, and temples on it. And so yeah, I guess that's my contribution to the Chinese ification of everything.
That's my number one wish list trip is China. That's where I want to go next. Full stop.
That'd be well. We're getting in trouble.
Back.
Okay, take some state secrets. Yeah, just kidding. Comedy. There was news today that I guess there's an executive order floating around that China interfered in the 2020 election, and so
thank God.
Well, no, because now it would give him a lot of power over stuff, and so I guess it depends who you're talking to. Maybe some people watching this like that, and you guys are thick fucks.
Can we share this screen? This is what you're going to see on a Fox News report. If defamed YouTuber sold state secrets to China, and this is the picture that's going to pop up. Wait, can I put it on? Right here.
Oh my God. What is this picture? Did you get arrested at one?
This is my passport picture I took 2 days ago.
Dude, you know what's crazy? They let me smile in my passport photo.
Dude, I felt bizarre because the person who did it after me, they did one picture, and I had to take like 8. The guy was like, maybe tilt your... I'm like, okay, I guess I'm just fucking hideous.
And what rocks? My hair is the longest it's ever been in my life in my passport photo. My hair is like literally probably like down. It's like down to here, and it looks insane. And I have a huge smile on my face, and they were like, great, have a nice day, and they just kicked me out after that. And so yeah, I've only used my passport to go to Europe last year. I'm trying to take some more trips though, but yeah, maybe China would be cool. I'm down to go wherever, really.
Yeah, me too. I would go anywhere. That's I'm pretty open. Pretty much.
What about what's a bad place?
I'd go to North Korea if that's where you're going. The only place I wouldn't go, like I'm pretty out on Oklahoma just entirely.
Okay, beast mode. OKC, seethe. You guys are pissed.
Not that bad of a city, believe it or not.
Well, what's around it is the thing. Desolation and open plains.
In the little bubble it's in, it's really not that bad.
Mm-hmm.
Hotels in Mexico.
Well,
really
give the rest.
Right, I'm going to Mexico in a couple of months. I hope everything's cool.
I hope. Hey, listen. I hope that for your sake too. Yeah.
I hope everything's settled down. No, okay, Israel. Yeah, we could scratch Israel off the list. That one is.
Dude. Well,
don't tell me.
Joe Mazzulla wants to go there. I know that. That's one thing he's said. I swear he wanted to take the whole Celtics team after they won the title. I don't think they made it out there though.
Can you imagine getting that email like you're
going to Tel Aviv tomorrow? No, I'm going to San Antonio,
Do I
dude.
Have to?
You're texting me right now. Yeah, that's a bit crazy. That is a bit wild.
Well, all right. We ran a little long. Sorry for keeping you. Plug your stuff.
This is nothing. To me. I go freaking 3 hours twice a week on the State of the League podcast, baby. New episodes Wednesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. YouTube, Twitter. Well, YouTube and Spotify and everywhere you get your podcast is State of the League. And then I am at JoestarJokic on Twitter, and I'm on TikTok and everything. Thanks for having me on. This was a good time.
Thanks for coming on. It was a great conversation. It's funny because I sent you all these topics, and I just sent you one because I know you're supposed to send topics. So I was like, there's no way we're going to talk about any. Like, I really did want to sit down and talk about the Nuggets for an hour.
Dude, doesn't matter. Well, it's because their clutch rating, second worst in the league, everybody. So that's all we need to talk about with the Nuggets. Second worst defensive rating in the clutch, fifth worst net rating.
Interesting. Very interesting. All right, we'll have to monitor that situation as the playoffs get closer. Thanks for coming on. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be back next week. I love you all. Enjoy your weekend. You have until tomorrow if you're in Texas to vote. Early voting ends tomorrow. So get out and vote in those primaries. I won't tell you who to vote for, but use your brain. All right, love you guys. Bye.
Who's it gonna be?
Can you still hear me?
My brain's gonna explode. My brain's gonna explode. There's something sinister afoot, absolutely.